Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, classics / non-classics. Yes, this is the Comic Corner, unlike the last video I did, which was the Boruto anime review. This is episode number 389 and Doubleshot number 312. Okay, 2 Superman trades for ya. First up, it's Action Comics, Volume 7, Under the Skin, which collects Action Comics, Volume 2, issues 36 to 40, and the Futures in One Shot. Let's briefly talk about the Futures in One Shot. Simply put, this is sort of a semi-remake of the saga of the Sandman storyline. Well, the start of it, anyways, basically with a whole sand version of Superman and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a semi-remake. It's actually a really good one-shot for one of the Futures in One Shot. It's actually one of the good ones. It's not terrible, it's actually pretty dang good. Yep. As for the issues themselves, this is just the aftermath of the storyline Doomed. Yes, the storyline where Superman pretty much became affected by the Doomsday virus type of thing. Yeah, which was a long-running story. This is the aftermath storyline. It was mainly... How should I put this? Of the 4 Superman books, Action Comics actually dealt with it the best. It was actually the only one that actually dealt with it because Superman dealt with the whole thing with Jeff Johns because, well, Superman probably was planned to have more issues tied into it, but was dropped due to Jeff Johns getting involved in doing the Men of Tomorrow storyline. Superman Wonder Woman dealt with it a little bit, not very much. Basically, like one issue of Superman Wonder Woman, just moved on afterwards, dealt with a storyline with Cersei. Batman Superman dealt with, well... After its tie-in, it dealt with, well, a follow-up to the first arc of the series, and an arc dealing with the Phantom King. This, simply put, is the aftermath. Like, okay, Superman's back, and he's got a full beard. This is actually kind of falling, like, right after Superman Wonder Woman number 12. Yeah, this takes place, like, right after that, because he's still got a beard, and he's just dealing with stuff in Smallville, basically, and the main focal character of these... Well, four of the 5 issues in here is Lana. Yeah, she's kind of like the main character, while Superman is more like a supporting character in its own series. It's fine. It's only for one story, and then it's back to him with next arc, with the whole thing with Truth, which I will discuss in the next episode, the true storyline. And, well, the first 2 of 4 trades dealing with it. Actually, I'm going to do with one... right as soon as I finish with this one. This is actually pretty dang good. I just don't like the villain. And according to what I read online, they said that this creature who appears in this issue is the Ultra Humanite. I look at this creature, and this is not the Ultra Humanite. This is some random monster. Yeah, this is not the Ultra Humanite. Yeah, when I think of the Ultra Humanite, I think of the evil scientist who transferred his brain into a gorilla from Gorilla City. This is not the Ultra Humanite. This is just some monster that Greg Pak came up with. They don't say his name in the story. I mean, I looked it up the whole time. I think it's just some random monster that just happened to appear. He's the only thing that I don't like about this story. Yeah, that creature. Because it's just Superman fighting some random creature, and apparently it came about because of Doomsday. Yeah, Doomsday is actually in here for like 1 issue. But, yeah, New 52 Superman after this storyline, he's gone. And then, of course, Dan Jurgens brought him back in his first arc for Action Comics for DC Rebirth. The story is good, it's just that the villain is not very good. Also, get a chance to see John Henry Irons is in here as well, as Steel, and he becomes Steel in the storyline, which is great. So the writing is fine. Everything else here is great. The artwork is fantastic by Aaron Kuder. Now the Futures in One Shot is not written by Greg Pak. It's written by Soleil Fish. The other artwork, now Aaron Kuder is the main artist of this, while the other artists are Scott Nolans, Jay Lee, Pascal Axel, and Vincent Kulfas. I think that's how you pronounce the person's name. Yeah, so this is good. I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. The only reason I take a half point off because the villain is not very good. He's a terrible villain. And saying that this guy is the Ultra Humanite is basically a disservice to the classic Superman, to the classic DC Universe villain, Ultra Humanite, who's a gorilla, not this monster. 8.5. Alright, next up is the first of the Truth trades. This is Superman, Volume 1. I don't know why they relaunched the Volume 1, but it's a bit bizarre. This is actually Volume 8. It should be Volume 8 because, well, it's the 8th trade to collect issues from this volume. This collects issues 40 to 44 of Superman with the Divergence Free Comic Day Special. Now, the Divergence Special, this came out 2 years ago. Yeah, I actually got it when it came out Free Comic Day, so I'm very well familiar with it. Now, I should point out, though, the opening issue in this trade is written and drawn by John Romita Jr. As a matter of fact, all the issues in here are drawn by him. They're not terrible artwork, per se. But, oh yeah, they also have artwork by Klaus Johnson and Scott Hanna, which are good artists. Plus, also, you get appearances by a few different DC Universe villains, like Atomic Skull. Okay, here's the sample. We've got Atomic Skull, Killer Croc. Let's see. I think that's it. Yeah, they appear like toward the end of this. But yeah, the best strength of this storyline is the writing first by John Romita Jr. and then by Glenn Yang. Yeah. Gene Luen Yang. Yeah. The biggest strong suit of the storyline is the writing. The writing is actually pretty dang good. And yes, like I said before when I reviewed the second volume of this, the only reason why I'm reviewing these out of order, it's how I got my hands on them. That's the reason why. So, like I've said, the strongest suit of this 5-issue storyline is the writing. And here's something a bit odd, though. The Free Comic Day issue, even though it came out after issue 40, it was put after issue 44. Oh, I also should point this out, though. When Superman 40 came out, it was actually delayed. Yes, issue 40 was in fact delayed. I do not know why, it just that it was. The villain is just okay in here. It's just somebody who named Hoarder. It does lay the groundwork for what would be later Savage Dawn. And this actually takes place before the present-day stuff in Action Comics. Though, beginning with the next few issues, it takes place kind of like during Action Comics. Yeah, that's what it kind of is with Next Trade. While Next Trade has 8 issues, this has only 5. Which isn't too bad. But the one thing I don't like, though, because they changed writers, they relaunched the trade. I don't know why. It's a bit bizarre. So you can kind of call this Volume 7 or 8. I would say this is probably Volume 8. Because there was 5 volumes of this. I think there might have been 6. I have to look at this up. But this is the Pendulum trade for this volume. Now, as of right now, I've viewed every single trade that's come out for this volume so far, except for the first trade, which is the start of this whole entire thing. And I believe the trade that came before Jeff Johns' run. Yeah, so the first and 5th volumes I have not reviewed yet. But as of now, I've reviewed just almost every single one of them for this volume, except for 2. So the story is great. The artwork is okay. Nothing against John Romita Jr., but the guy did not need to draw Superman. Not at all. It was completely unnecessary for him to be brought into the book. I mean, I don't have a problem with the other artists. I don't have a problem with him at all. It's just that his artwork did not fit Superman. Which I do agree with that. Because when you think of Superman artwork, you don't think of John Romita Jr. Yes, the guy would later, of course, do after he finished his run for Superman, he did the first arc for All-Star Batman, and he also did the arc before the current one of Suicide Squad. But at least the guy still kept busy. Yeah. And the guy is a legacy artist because he's a son of John Romita Sr., the guy who replaced Steve Ditko on Amazing Spider-Man. Yeah. So He's probably one of 3 legacy artists who's currently working right now, along with the Kubert brothers, who actually are the sons of legendary comic book artist Joe Kubert. So yeah, I give this also 8.5 out of 10. It's also same. It's the same reason why the villain is just okay. It's not terrible like the way it was with Under the Skin. This villain is just okay, but at least I got praise for this. At least it's an accurate name for the story. Oh, one thing I forgot to talk about for this. Issue 40 is the debut of the second Bizarro. Excuse me. There are 2 Bizarros that exist in this continuity. One is from Bizarro World, who shows up in issue 40, and then of course there's the failed clone of Superman, who's currently in Red Hood and the Outlaws. Yeah, this one has nothing really to do with that one, and the whole point of issue 40 is to do one thing and one thing only: set up the Bizarro miniseries. Which I've read it. It's actually pretty dang good. Yeah. So yeah, the last issue is actually pretty good. I don't think. Yeah, I think Aaron Coles did do the artwork for this, but yeah, I had to bring that up. I almost forgot to talk about that. All right, that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for the next episode, which is episode 390 and Doubleshot number 313. Okay. Until then, I will see you there. Bye.